All right, good evening, friends. Welcome to Live Reality Games. We are stoked to talk about Survivor at UVA Wahoo Warriors, episode 11 and 12. I was a little shocked. I didn't realize it was a double boot episode. So if you don't want spoilers, you have to go watch it right now because we have a ton of them for you. With me today is Varun. Welcome.
Hello. Glad to be here.
And I'm really stoked because Varun is on the current production team for Survivor at UVA. And you swear by this, you are unspoiled, right?
I literally don't know what's going to happen next.
Awesome. So somebody is finally with me and can make incorrect predictions as well. I'm stoked. And unfortunately with us as well is one of our evictees, Max. It's good.
Hey,
great to have you, my friend.
Thanks, Kirk. It's great to be here.
And becoming a queen on my podcast for 2 weeks in a row. She has not been voted out here. It's Lauren. Welcome back.
Glad to be back.
It's great to have you. And we're going to get right to it. This episode is called From Death Comes Life. But I love to pull a couple quotes from each episode. And so I think some subtitles for this could be Max's I never know what's going on. There's also a nice runner-up is Ellie's shrooms are cool. I really like that one. And then Ryan's, but Margaret bought me cookies. Can somebody, let's start with the damn cookies. I know it's the end of the episode. What's up with these cookies? My camera's out of focus. All right, here we go. What are these cookies? Why, she spent all her money at the auction for these cookies. What are up with these cookies? I've never had them.
Oh, Aaron's cookies?
No, I think Margaret bought the same cookies, the insomnia cookies. I've never had them. Are these great cookies?
No,
They're pretty good, yeah.
They're okay.
They're okay. I don't know.
Like they're open late, I think, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah, they're open till 4 a.m.
Like
so they're
3 a.m.
they're the only cookies.
Oh.
If you want cookies at 4 a.m.
Oh, so after a night at the bar, go grab some
it's
cookies.
Right there. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. Makes sense now. I get it. Well, maybe I would tell somebody about my idol then for some cookies if it's 4 a.m. and I'd have had a couple drinks. But when we get into this episode, we are in the aftermath of the Kevin vote. But I think before we get into that, Varun, you've been unspoiled. What's your take so far on the season?
Oh my gosh. It's definitely been a ride. There's so many times where I'm just I was like, wow, I did not think they were going to do this. Or I really thought this person was going to do that. And then they didn't do that. It's just, and I'm, so many props to Ryan, man, for editing this. It's so good. It truly is very, very good.
It's it's an excellent College Survivor season to watch, guys. And this episode tells you that it doesn't go how you expect it to go in the last few. I have an ongoing chat with Mario on Facebook, and I'm just I never know what's happening. I'm dude, I'm so shook by this next episode. So Mario, keep chatting with me about it because
that's so funny.
I don't know what's happening. So anyways, this is the aftermath of the Kevin vote, right? So we see one of the first years go home. There's a lot of talking, a lot of drama going on. And Mario talks a lot about offering people olive branches in his confessional. And I kind of want to ask you about that, Max. We see you guys talking in this episode a little bit. What was your take from your side of the situation? Did you feel like you were accepting his olive branch, or did you feel like you were rejecting it?
I think he had talked earlier in the season about the idea of taking a leap of faith and sort of siding with Mario. And we had been talking throughout the whole time, on and off, and sometimes it would be we'd be talking more frequently than other times. But he had we were in conversations, and I think he did offer for in various situations to work together and stuff. But at this point in the game, I was so sure that Mario was running the show. I thought that he was talking to everybody. I thought everybody was kind of answering to Mario. So I was really afraid of him for that reason, and I think that got in my way a little bit because I couldn't get past that to trust.
So there was a little maybe intimidation. He's like the godfather of the game. How do I talk to this dude? And
For sure, yeah. I mean, you saw a couple of times we had met up and spoke together, and I think part of what threw me off was he was making an effort, I don't know, extend the olive branch, as he said, and that would look like he would tip me off or give me some info or something, and the time when that really all started, I guess, was with the Katie vote, when he had called before tribal and sort of orchestrated me and Ethan, I think, both flipping. So that was big, and that was my first when I was like, all right, like it made me feel like he's this all powerful guy. But also, I wasn't sure why he was helping me out, and I think that freaked me out. I think when I started the game, I had very little kind of strategy, and then once I realized that I was not exactly in the know, I started to overthink and overanalyze every single thing. So I don't know, that could have been more balanced throughout.
Yeah, I felt like, Max, you were always trying to get a footing in the game, but you were cognizant enough to kind of take a step back after every vote. You'd go, oh wait, that wasn't right, and then you take another step. And then you go, oh shit, that wasn't it. So at least in your defense, I think you were aware of your situation after the fact. But unfortunately, I don't think you ever caught on before. I have another question for you, Max, because earlier on in these episodes, I really predicted a you and Margaret duo. And I said it consistently. There was so many cuts of you working with Margaret. I felt like you kind of saved Margaret in some ways. Like you were kind of there for her when that flop happened. So what's your take on Margaret?
I mean, obviously after she turned on the alliance, the betrayal tree, that whole thing, I wasn't fond of her after that point. But I think that, we definitely could have worked together a little bit more closely, but especially watching it back now, I don't think that Margaret, I don't know if she ever would have, if I ever would have gotten that close with her, because she had the Super Mario Bros. Alliance and then also, the rest of the first year kind of alliance going on. So that's interesting, actually, that you that was one of your predictions, because I don't know. Looking back, thinking about, I actually had the thought after watching the last episode that I should have worked with Ethan at some point. We can talk more about that if you want, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would have ended up working more closely with Margaret, just because she was. I think that she had a pretty good situation most of the time. I guess when the tribe swapped and we were sort of the minority, or she was the minority on the new tribe. I spoke with her then, but I remember sort of just telling her like it is, or like how I thought it was, and she even said right after that, she said something like, yeah, I don't think he really knows how much he doesn't know, something like that. True.
Well, I was hoping Margaret would maybe extend the favor, but I don't think that's necessarily something I'm going to see from her at this point, now that I'm starting to see all the sides of her character. But we'll see. I've been wrong every episode so far. We go into the challenge. It's the Final 8 challenge. It is freezing cold out for this particular one, and I think it affected the first round a lot. First, they play Idle Hands. If you don't know what that challenge is, it's where you balance like a urn or something on something, and then you have to knock the other players off. It's in a lot of amateur Survivor LRGs. Then they go into it's like throw the bocce ball closest to the. It's like bocce ball. They play bocce ball, basically. Get it close enough, and then it turns into a 100-piece puzzle, which is a pretty big puzzle. I mean, that's a ton of pieces. It's my favorite takeaway from the challenge, Lauren, has got to be I think Genki says, Lauren trying to figure out how the puzzle pieces work, or something like that. And I was like, that's not fair to her, but it was kind of funny at the same time. So you were really close, Lauren. Like, I mean, you got to the last round. Like, had it been something you could do and you win immunity and Aaron doesn't have immunity, how does this change the round? Does it change the round?
Yeah. So this challenge was before Max's boot round
Correct.
mine, right? Yeah, I think Aaron definitely would have gone before Max, but I also could see it going towards Max either way. I think Aaron was definitely seen as like Aaron and Max were definitely seen as like the priorities of the other side to take out. I don't see anybody flipping earlier in any case, like if Aaron won or something like that. But I think that was one of the reasons why, like, I think there were some quotes that were like, why did Lauren like lose this one? She can't do a puzzle, like, because everyone really wanted Aaron out that round. So yeah, I definitely was feeling pretty terrible walking back to my dorm with Ethan, but
you can't win them all. I mean,
yeah.
when all the pressure's on you to like hold the alliance at that point, I mean, like, what can you do? But Aaron pulls out immunity win, a pretty clutch win, it sounds like, in that sense. And I think one of the funniest things, she doesn't say it right now, but in a little bit, she says something like, it feels so good to have immunity. I can be as messy as I want. And I thought there were like, part of me was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then part of me was like, I'm not sure that's the best game plan in Survivor. Like, I don't know.
It's a very Aaron thing to say, I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
But she's entertaining as all get out. Like when she's talking about the fight at Tribal Council and she's like ping-ponging back like a tennis match. But Max, clearly you're one of these three. You know your position in the game. Aaron wins immunity. That's one less person that can be voted for if the five stick together. What's your game plan at this point?
I think I was feeling kind of dejected. I was hoping that I could figure something out, but I didn't. We were talking about flipping. We were trying to get somebody to flip, and that was the whole thing. And I was a week too early, I guess, for all the flipping to start and everything. But yeah, I don't know. I think that in looking back on it, obviously know a lot more now, but I think I could have definitely tried harder to kind of, I don't know, sow insecurity in sort of the whole game and the other side, because that's what you see happen in the second part of this 2-part episode. Everyone's like, all right, we're getting down to it, like where the line's going to, be drawn, where like the crack's going to form. And I think I should have gone for it. And, I think that it was possible that could have happened a week earlier. But yeah, no, I was trying to stay on the plan, which was, try and get somebody to flip, and did not pan out.
One thing I absolutely got right from last week, as I said, I have a feeling that some of the females are going to go at each other, and definitely saw that with Aaron and Margaret. First, Margaret's part of this the whole time. I don't know if Margaret can work with other females, and I've seen that with my eyes, where like female contestants playing Survivor don't always align with any other females. And I think this is a broader conversation to have, but I thought this was really interesting that the two went at each other. My favorite quote about it is Aaron's "fuck Margaret." She says it so many times with so much like game intensity. So I'm curious, Varun, what's your take on the Ryan and Aaron relationship? We see them talking all of the time. And one of the quotes Ryan says is, "I don't think Aaron trusts me at all." They're talking all. What's your take on these two?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that I honestly was a little surprised. Like Ryan would even like try to make, I guess, like any type of contact with Aaron. Like I honestly think that, well, one, Aaron like being smart, being kind of like trying to see where Ryan's head at. I think that's really interesting. But I also wonder, I don't know. I guess it's interesting. You're both on different ends, and you're both like the head of like each of your tribes, or not tribes, but like your alliances. So I don't know. I just think it was definitely interesting on both.
Yeah, I
ends,
mean,
for sure.
We see them talking all the time and almost constantly sharing disinformation and never sharing everything. So I can see how Ryan might if he gets the sense that Aaron's always lying to him, maybe there is that sense that they don't trust each other, but they're still playing the game. And I can't emphasize that enough for future Survivor contestants. It's like, just because you don't trust somebody doesn't mean that person's not going to be loyal. I mean, those two in Survivor can be separated facts. So, Max, you find out about the split vote. Mario tells you that it's Ellie and Max. Ellie's getting 3 votes. At that point, or Ellie's getting 3 votes to save. Well, at that point, what can you do? I mean, really, I was trying to think of what scenario can you pull to flip another vote or another 2 votes your way.
Yeah, it would have taken a lot of orchestration. I think reaching out to every single person, which, as you saw, was not exactly my play style. I think it would have been a huge effort. Would it have even been possible? Maybe if I had sort of played on the insecurities of kind of the coming, the flip is going to come, the cracks are going to, form, and I could have taken that angle. But yeah, I don't know. I think everyone in the majority was, at that point, pretty comfortable sitting there and just, getting somebody else out, and which totally makes sense. So it would have been really hard to pull off. So yeah, I don't know. I was just hoping that wasn't gonna be me, I guess.
I'm really glad these 2 episodes are together, because I feel like there's so much coulda, woulda, shoulda based on both of your storylines. I mean, I almost want to jump ahead, because the most dramatic part of this episode to me is Lauren's discovery of Mario on Snapchat, which is
no, it was not Snapchat.
Oh, it wasn't. I think I just jumped to that conclusion because that's
find my friend,
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So
which is worse.
That was crazy. That was crazy to watch, because obviously that was after I was off, and immediately it started getting crazy. That was awesome.
Yeah, but you're right, Max. The rumblings were there, and we had already seen it. Lauren had a few quotes in a couple episodes about sometimes saying I'm going to work with Mario, but sometimes his decision isn't what's best for me. We saw Ethan say the same thing. We didn't really see that from Ryan and Margaret as much, but Margaret was consistently playing everybody, all sides throughout the game. So we saw what she was doing, and Ryan was busy creating, fake idols. I feel like or fake legacy advantages, and hiding them places. So it's really interesting. Lauren, okay, so knowing you go home in this next episode, and maybe you don't care about any other version of this game playing out, but if you are to stay in this game past the final 7, what did you have to do differently this round? Or does it even matter? Is
in Max's round?
Yeah, I feel like you would have had to do something here to stay next round, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's interesting to say. I guess thinking back, I don't necessarily see anything I would have done differently this round. I'm sorry, Max.
No, you're good.
Yeah, just because, thinking forward in this game, I guess if I'm thinking how would I have stayed an extra round, I think I probably would have had to lay the foundation for that, much prior to Max's round, just because there was, a lot of, not, I wouldn't say animosity at all, but just, a lot of resistance on both of my alliance's ends to, working with me in particular, working with me and Ethan. I guess jumping ahead, there's definitely a lot of this might be jumping ahead. There's a lot of stigma between specifically me and Ethan as this sort of tethered together duo that definitely rubbed specifically the other alliance the wrong way. So I probably would have had to just despite getting votes every round, just cultivate those relationships. Probably when you're thinking about the relationship with Ryan and Aaron, I had a couple of meetings with Aaron, especially before around the Peyton vote and around the merge that didn't make the edit. And similar to how Ryan just kind of makes it work every week meeting up to lie with Aaron, I just kind of got sick of it, so I just stopped reaching out. You know what I mean? It's every week you're gonna vote for me for why I reach out. And I think that was part of something I could have fixed, just reaching out with people. Like one thing was I never reached out to Max after like I was the one that gave Mario your number, and that was kind of just the end of our connection. So that's probably like, just making those social connections with the other side is something I probably should have done. Just maybe not flipping at the Max vote, because I feel like as a non-challenge threat, Max did like have to go and things like that. But just jumping ahead in the future, that was maybe one way that Aaron and Ellie would have not would have flipped with me and Ethan. But that's skipping ahead.
Varun, it's so interesting. We see Lauren become a target, like like out of nowhere this week. She becomes a target from the other side again, and another. What is it? I can't figure. What is it about Lauren? Are they just threatened by her for final tribal council? Because that's might be my take. I don't know if I could beat you at the end. You're really likable. What is it, Varun? What is it about Lauren?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought, Lauren, you were playing a really safe game, because I felt like, you weren't trying to play an aggressive game. I thought that worked well, but I was like wondering, are you going to make more moves like towards the end? Because I felt that gradually, like the other alliance was going to start going down, and then, everyone else was going to have to start targeting each other. So I was going to be more curious, like if you're going to make more moves. So I was like kind of surprised. I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess they did decide to go for you, but I was really like hoping that you were going to try to like turn on them too.
And there's this idea, like Lauren, you mentioned that idea of being tethered to somebody. And even if you're not, if the entire game and everybody believes that to be true, it's like that's the reality of the game. Like Ethan's her number one, even if she doesn't want it to be, because everybody thinks it. So maybe they were just concerned of your placement in the alliance, like where you actually stood and the relationships you had with that 5. I don't know. That's my take on it.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Am I supposed to, should I comment, or I know we're low on time.
There's a lot about this tribal we can talk about. I mean, this is the shrooms are cool. Like
I'm not sure what inspired that. I mean, true, but I don't know. Ellie is always saying stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It contributes to her whole persona and character, that she's just like very mellow and like, I don't know, tries to take this like natural approach, I guess. And I think it's interesting to see Ellie just in the game, because she, just character-wise as a person, she's not someone who you would think would be trying to, I don't know, double cross people and make, spicy moves like you have to make sometimes.
I love how people can make Survivor fit their worldview. Like where you come from in life, you can allow this very crazy experience to make sense with your code of ethics, your morality. And I just love that about, like, we see her so connected to the earth. She walks around barefoot, plays the challenges. And Ellie, you're just one of a kind. The language you use, the metaphors, it's just beautiful. And it's also funny at the same time in a game that can be as serious and competitive as Survivor. When you say, I will try to stay the best as a tree in this game, and if I'm a shroom, I'll be a good shroom. I mean, it's just like gorgeous language. Shrooms are all edible. Some will kill. Some give you life. I mean, I absolutely love it. Lauren, you make an interesting, very astute prediction at this tribal council in regards to Final 5. You go, I hope I'll get there. We're talking about your alliance. I found that to be very, that was a nice editing choice by Ryan, for sure, to put in there. But Varun, I've been talking high about Mario pretty much this whole game, and on the side, I've been chatting with him on the side, probably how he played the actual game of Survivor with you guys with lots of text messages. But I got to tell you, Mario, I'm not so I don't know if you can win anymore. I felt like Varun, I felt like he was getting very personal at Tribal Council, like almost saying like they hate me. They're not accepting my olive branches. And maybe that's a strategy on his side to get it emotional, to seem like he's in that space. But I'm concerned maybe some people won't vote for him because of that. Did you get that vibe at all?
I wouldn't say it. I didn't get that vibe. I was thinking that like he's playing the middle game, and I was like kind of wondering if like that was putting him in a dangerous spot. So yeah, I think I was thinking more about the middle game.
So Max, you basically decide you're going to spill tea if things go wrong, and it's a thinly veiled threat is what you're actually doing. I'm going to tattle on one of you. I have this student sometimes in class. I'm going to tell on you if you don't do what I tell you to do. And it ends up being kind of lukewarm.
Yeah.
Is there? But I mean, you were still making a move, and I'm happy you did that. But is there any other way you could have? I'm thinking giving that information after the fact is not going to help you, right? Could you have pulled like Ryan's bag of tricks and gone up and maybe started whispering to somebody and maybe caused confusion? I don't know.
I think I did what I tried to do the same thing that Kevin tried to do, but I just did it worse than he did. I think, so from my point of view at that point, I thought we went into the tribal and we weren't sure if Ryan was going to flip or not. He maybe was going to flip to our side, but maybe was not. And so I was thinking, I guess I could have said that, like, we've been in talks with like Ryan to flip to our side. So like now it's out there. So you might as well do it because they all, now I just told everybody. Little did I know that was all part of the whole plan to do that. That was like part of the Alliance's whole plan. So I didn't know that, but I was thinking that if I put it out there, then it would be out there. And what I was hoping would happen was that he would just flip, and then they would all not know what happened, and then that would send that alliance into like disarray, and then we'd have this sort of like inside man type of thing, like in Ryan. So that was the thinking. But I think that, I don't know, just kind of a life lesson is that sometimes it's better to just like commit. I should have just gone one way or the other. Or, even maybe there at tribal, like try to specifically say something about Ryan and how he's, on him or whatever, which he wasn't at the time. I don't know. I don't know if it would have worked, but I definitely could have made a bigger splash. I think I was trying to like hold my cards and play them at the same time.
I'm curious, Lauren, would you or Ethan be threatened? Were you either of you threatened by Ryan at about this point in the game? Were you ever threatened by Ryan?
Like Ryan in terms of like a jury threat? Like
as maybe nope. That alliance, they're just doing a good job. They trust each other. They're sharing information. They're doing what they have to do. And
I think I misunderstood your question. Like, I think people were definitely threatened by Margaret, but the perception was that Ryan was not doing much compared to the Super Mario Bros. And so I think in terms of like, under the radar strategy, that's good. But, these are also the people that are going to populate the jury. And so in that sense, kind of like, I guess what Varun was saying about like making a big move, like, there's only so much you can claim at Final Tribal Council that's going to work.
That's very true.
I think Margaret and Ryan and Margaret and Mario. Sorry, we're definitely like the two people in the Super Mario Bros. That were seen as like strategic, social, and like the whole big thing. And then Ryan was like
their number.
I think
I wouldn't go that far, but
okay.
I think he was like very afraid a lot of the time that like his name would come up, and he didn't need to be. Like he obviously, he didn't know that. But I think, because he had flipped. Didn't he flip on the Andy vote, right?
Oh, that was another thing. Ryan was seen. I think it wasn't really resolved in the edit, but like basically Ryan did come out and share that like he was the one that flipped, and that also gave him like a negative perception by. I'm sure Max, you can speak to what your alliance thought, but I know like me and Ethan were like, like obviously flipping was probably not the smart move there. Like obviously, I would have done it just because the stakes were very like low. I felt, I don't know, like it's just a game. If I go out, I go out. But like it was seen as him as being like paranoid, like you wouldn't flip. And he also took a really long time to like share that he flipped to people outside of, I guess, Mario and Margaret. Like I think he waited a day to share, and so that was another thing. He was just seen as kind of like anxious and like nervous, which is the same as what
jumpy. He's being jumpy.
Yeah. Which Ethan was seen that same way, so which is kind of funny. But
that's fascinating. You talked about the jury too and populating the jury, and I love how this is a jury, at least right now. It's a very petty jury, and I've experienced this. What I mean is like when the jury comes and they act like they don't give a shit about the game. Like it's so funny. Like I was playing Survivor Canada, and the jury would come in with food every single time, and this is where we're starving.
You'll love tonight's
and episode. I was like, at one. This is about you guys, but I gotta tell one more story. At one Survivor I played, the jury was eating like popcorn or something, and I literally walked to vote and took a handful of popcorn with me. I was like, fuck this, I'm hungry, don't eat in front of me. Okay, so they're all listening to music, and you got Kevin who's like this the whole time. He's like pretending like he doesn't hear. Tommy's clearly got his music muted because he's actually responding to everything but pretending. And I just love petty juries. I love bitter juries and petty juries. I think they're fun to watch. Some people hate them, but I'm old school and still love them. So there's
they had the whole uniform thing going too for a tribal or two.
There's a lot of fun gimmicks coming up.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. So
maybe some petty ones.
Oh, I'm excited. It's all fun. I mean, if you haven't played Survivor and you haven't sat on a jury, you have no idea what it feels like, people. And it can be weird sometimes. All right. So the vote comes out. Max, unfortunately, received too many. He spills his lukewarm tea to the cast is like.
Yeah. Watching it back, the next episode, just devastating all over again. Still couldn't get one in.
You hung in there the entire game, Max, and that was pretty impressive. Like if you were like one of those free climbers, you didn't have your chalk and you got one finger, and you're like, I'm still gonna keep on going up this mountain. Just didn't make it to the top. I do hope I get to see you play Survivor again because it looked like you were having a fun time while you were playing.
It was fun, yeah. It was new. So I mean, obviously, I don't know if I ever actually said it like on camera, but I didn't know about Survivor. Like when I joined Survivor UVA, like I don't know. You have some people are super fans, and I think that there's generally it's a good idea to have like some knowledge of the game. But I was just like, I'm a people person. Like I can connect with people. I'm good at talking to people. Like let's do it. Like this will be fun. I'll make some friends, whatever. But there's the whole beyond that whole side of the game about people skills that like you maybe I think mentioned this briefly at the beginning of this called like the meta game. There's the whole meta game and like using like the structure of Survivor, like knowing certain things about it and like what could happen, and even something as simple as like keeping the jury in mind is a meta strategy.
Very true. So Max, how did you find out about this? How did you become involved?
One of my good friends, also in our comedy club, was on season 2, I think. Yeah, he ended up going pretty far. And I spoke to him about it one time because I think our club was flyering next to them, and I just walked over. Started talking about it, and I was with this guy who had been in it, so he knew them, and he was talking to them, and he was like, "Yeah, no, it seemed like something you would like." And then I looked into a little bit more, and I was like, "It does seem fun." It ended up being way more stressful than I thought it would. Obviously, it's a game and everything, but there's real like anxiety involved, and it can consume like just large portions of the day, especially idle hunting and stuff like that.
To all of you out there, this is all truth. What Max is saying, it's fun, but it is stressful. It can be full of anxiety. And yes, even like Lauren says in the next episode, even though it's dark out, she's like, go out and find that idol. Mario, get out and find that idol right now.
That's so funny.
like, let's just get into it. The challenge is a traditional challenge. If you want to play Survivor, work on your memory. It's almost always you get a story, and then you have to remember answers, and you run around like a chicken with your head cut off looking for these things. I just played it in the last episode of Survivor Canada. It was I sucked. Aaron pulls out the win again.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give it to you, Aaron. I think you're the MVP of the episode. Even if you might not make all the strategic moves this episode, you saved your ass big time. So, girl, you get it. Good job. And Mario gets a clue. I forget how he got the clue. How did he get the clue?
I think there were clues in like the envelope of the like choices. I think.
I remember when they were saying that they were all looking for a clue. They were saying that it's going to be in the envelope or something. I don't know if they actually said in the episode where exactly he found it.
Yeah, I don't think they should in the episode, but I know like after the fact, I know there's like a scene of me and Ethan, like, I don't know why we were fighting amongst ourselves. We were like snatching things from each other. And I think Ethan, there was a clue like under the one that me and Ethan were fighting under. So I think there were 2 idle clues at the challenge. And then I'm guessing he found one that was in one envelope, but yeah.
That's fascinating. And Mario, if you're watching this, my friend, you've been telling me for weeks, I don't care about idols. I wouldn't play with idols. I don't care about clues. I don't care. Mario, I'm not playing this game.
That's
you don't have to lie to me.
revisionism from Mario. No, I'm just playing.
So basically, what happens, guys, I can't even believe it. So you have an alliance of 5. You're literally walking. You then split up to go probably your separate ways towards your living arrangements is what I'm guessing. And Mario goes off with the Super Mario Bros. And shares with them the clue instantly and not with his real life friend for a long time.
Let's unpack that. No, I'm just saying.
No, it's okay.
Oh my gosh. As soon as the episode aired, Mario sent me like so many voice memos explaining like why he didn't share. Apparently they saw him take the clue out the envelope. This is his official story. Of course, it was not aired. So
right.
What can I say? But it's very problematic. It's very problematic.
So it's fascinating. Lauren, will you just so you see on his find my friends, which is for safety, everybody. So
yes. Exactly, it's for safety.
By the way,
it's
so true because my Snapchat got hacked last summer and I had to deactivate my account. Long story short, it happens, people. So be safe. Yeah. Have your friends watch over you. Anyways, you find out about this, and it's like the most interesting tea of this entire episode is Ethan starts calling, can't get through, and then Mario lies to you guys, double backs on his lies, start telling you a little bit more truth. And Lauren, you could smell the BS a mile away. You called him out right away on it. So I just want to relive this for a moment with you. What was? Did you think you were losing Mario? What was going on at this moment?
I think I was just like annoyed because it's obviously like I think it was like 1 in the morning. I had actually I don't sleep until really late, so I wasn't like asleep or anything. But we all have we're students, so we have schoolwork. I guess I'll narrate because that's how I like get my mind in order. But it was just like a normal night. Like I'm getting started on my schoolwork because of course it's been a long day of Survivor. And then Ethan calls me to propose his original plan of flipping. So Ethan had wanted to flip like this episode. He was like, this is time. We need to do this. And so he calls me down to do this plan. And I'm like, I very much don't trust Aaron and Ellie to follow through. And that's my nervousness. And I'm also worried about them as jury threats. And so we're just kind of sitting like back and forth, like discussing, is this the best time to flip? And then, as my close friend and ally, of course, I was like, oh, well, let's see like what Mario's up to and we can talk about things. But at this point, Ethan was like my key ally. And so, of course, I go to check his location and he's that engineering way when, of course, we had just come from there. And I'm like, oh, maybe his location's a little outdated. Like, but, this is Find My Friends, not Snap Map. So this is the accurate location. And so, yeah, we just kind of called him. And then, of course, we found out later. I felt like something was up, like you said. Like, it was just very suspicious. And so what happens was Mario calls us back. And then I I get a weird impression like during the first call, and I tell Ethan, hang up, like we're not saying anymore, like don't tell him about your plan, because of course our plan was to flip on Margaret and Ryan, either with Mario, because I'm not good at math, but I think it would be 3-2-2 or something in that case. So either with Mario or like with Aaron and Ellie. I definitely preferred the me, Mario, and Ethan flip plan, but I was like, don't tell Mario anything because this is just very suspicious. And so we hang up, we talk amongst ourselves, and we're like, can we still trust Mario? And then I guess I'm a little bit unclear on the time of like what happened like after Mario picks up and then we answer. But he at some point like calls us back. Supposedly they're gone, but we like made him like look, like show us around the room, which we probably should have done in the first place. I don't remember if it was a phone call or a FaceTime call, but he definitely was alone at that point. And then he just he does fess up. He eventually shares the clue, and it was a weird conversation because, like you said, it's like, can we still trust Mario? I think in the moment I did feel betrayed just because this was someone that was like not only a real life friend, but in the game friend, and we had kind of talked about it, and I got the impression that like it would be a weird thing to like betray him in the game, and then also like the other side wanted to vote me out, so I wasn't too keen on like flipping anyway. But definitely I went into the conversation with Ethan going downstairs like not wanting to flip, wanting to stay with the 5, and then just getting that impression with like not just, and I think honestly the biggest betrayal wasn't Mario, but that Margaret and Ryan wanted to flip, because I had felt confident in the 5, especially like just my perception of the jury. I would have preferred to go with one of the things I said in that episode that wasn't aired was like I would rather go with Aaron than Ellie, just because I felt like just again that likability factor with the jury was not was like different than going with, like, I wanted to go against my alliance in the end no matter who it was, just because I felt like my chances were strongest with that. And then I came out of that conversation like pretty solid against wanting to flip, but mostly feeling like when you get information that like someone in your alliance wants to flip, it would be kind of foolish for you to like blindly stick with that just because you've seen the evidence, that they weren't going to tell you anything if you hadn't figured it out. But yeah, I think me and Ethan did both still trust Mario, and we obviously told him that we were going to flip, and so he knew. But yeah, that was a long.
I think there's a lot of really key takeaways from what Lauren just told us, and I took a couple notes just like as a strategist, like video calls, like video messaging, as opposed to just, if you're playing College Survivor and you're just on a phone call, it's probably not smart. Like if you're calling a Survivor player, get them on video call. What Lauren just said to us is probably a tactic you should do out of trust and loyalty. Is like, can you show me your surroundings? Who's there? Like if you trust me, you're going to do that anyways, right? So that's a strategy maybe some future College Survivor players should use. And also, I like this find your friends thing. And I have a couple ideas around it because I'm unfamiliar. But maybe use this to build loyalty and trust with an alliance. Maybe like say, hey, let's all share our information. And then the devious, the little devil on the one side of me is thinking, could you still spoof your location? Like, could I still pretend I'm in my dorm room? Is there a way to change my geolocation?
You could always just leave your phone there, I guess. But then available. Yeah.
Oh.
It could happen.
You'd be locked out of your dorm, though, if you're a first year.
Yeah. That's very true. So fair enough. Feel free to steal these ideas. If you do, give me a shout out in your episode. That would be awesome to make my dream come true. Okay, so Aaron and Ellie become swing votes. And this is just the craziest. Like Varun, like I really thought one of them would get voted out right after Max, and then they become swing votes. And what did you think was going to go down next?
Yeah, I honestly thought like Ellie was going to be going next, but nope, no, it was unfortunately Lauren. And yeah, I think it definitely puts both of them in like a interesting position moving forward, because they're I think they're still like, I'm interested in seeing like what they're going to do next, because they're kind of on the bottom in a way. So I really want to see what's going to happen next, I guess.
I was really excited by Mario's strategy, which it seemed like Margaret was not impressed with. So Margaret, Ryan, and Mario had gone to find the idol. And then when they wake up, Mario had revealed the clue in the group chat. And the 5 of you went out to look for it. And my hunch is Mario did this to try to reunify because he already saw the writing on the wall. I felt like he saw the split is happening. I gotta be glue. Let's come together, look for an idol. But you know who found it? Not somebody who's gonna become glue. I feel like if Ethan or Lauren finds it, it could be a different scenario, possibly, because I think I don't know. I'd let you guys talk for it. But Ryan finds it. It's very secret. And then Margaret brings some cookies.
The cookies.
Yeah. I bet there was.
The cookies were a front. I think he would have told her anyway. I don't.
I mean,
yeah. Honestly, it seems like at that point, it really, watching it back, it seems like that the duo is stronger than the trio. Like Ryan and Margaret were stronger than the Super Mario Bros. Alliance.
Absolutely. I feel like this is possibly a cakewalk for Ryan now to the final 3 or final 2, which, Varun, do we know yet if it's a final 3 or a final 2? I cannot recall them saying.
I literally don't know. I'm really curious to see what's going to be. Yeah.
Because if it's a final 3, there's only 6 people left. I mean, half of the cast is in the finals then. And if it's only 5, so I mean, it's getting tight.
Yeah.
So Ryan says that he doesn't want Lauren out. He says to Aaron that he would prefer Mario or Ethan, I believe is what he said. But Aaron, you're the MVP, but I still don't understand your strategy because I got to say, why did you align with the girl who's lied to you more times than I can count? I cannot figure out. Like, we never see anything, Lauren, where you go against Aaron and lie to her in the same game sense. Can anybody that's here right now explain their thinking? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember lying to Aaron either. I think mostly, like, I remember from our meetings was that Aaron would lie to me. Like, I know, I asked her, "Oh, do you have an idol?" And she's like, "Oh God, no, nobody has an idol." And then Peyton plays the idol for her, and I'm like, "Girl." But yeah, I just think the lines were just drawn. Like, I guess that's the side effect of like voting for one person so many times that like in your mind that you're like, obviously I voted for this person for a reason. They must have lied to me. They must be against me. But I think like just ultimately people feared like that me, Mario, and Ethan were like this dangerous duo when in reality it was probably the Super Mario Bros. That were the bigger threat. But then just like it's just an easy scapegoat to target me as like the linchpin of those 2 people.
I definitely think that was part of it. As somebody who did vote for Lauren a couple of times,
Water under the bridge, Mac.
My defense, one of those times we did pick it out of the hat, but no, I think that Aaron at this point sees Lauren as like very well connected, and I think Lauren, you're totally right that like that's wrong. Like that's not how it actually was. But I think that was her perception at least. Yeah, I think you have an interesting point about just like having voted, like sort of using past votes to dictate future votes. I think there was just less like contact. We said something. I think it was in my tribal, like my boot, talking about like looking at the game as like sort of like a web, and everyone's connected to everyone else in some way, and like some tethers are stronger than others. And I feel like there was just never contact between you guys, right? Between like Aaron and Lauren, or at least not as much. Like we saw Ryan and Aaron talking, and even like Margaret and Aaron talking, even though, right, like you would think that, most of her interactions with those 2 were, involved like lies. So interesting. when
Yeah.
you're thinking about like the strategy.
Yeah, so like strategically, I shouldn't align with Margaret because she's lied to me. Socially, maybe I've gotten along with her really well. Maybe it's been fun to hang out with her. Okay, we didn't really see that, but yeah, let's put that out there. That can be the case. Still, I'm surprised that the social might outweigh the strategic. I'm still shocked, and so Aaron and Ellie, I hope if you come on, you explain this round because it literally makes no sense. Like, what is your future game plan down the road with these three? Why wouldn't you split up the three? I don't know. I need more information. The vote comes out, and Mario, because I feel like he has no choice. He throws his vote, not even as a hinky. He just like tosses it. Now, is there more of a reason for it, or he votes for Ellie? And Margaret gets 2 votes. Lauren gets the rest. Yeah, it's so close to almost even drawing a tie there. You know, like, yeah, just 1 vote for Lauren flops onto Margaret. It's a tie. It's a revote. Yeah. So, Aaron and Ellie, you're going to have to explain yourselves. I have no idea what happened at the end of this episode, but it's exciting to watch. You never know what's going to happen in Survivor. Max, and with this coming up, there's so much that really could happen because we've seen now an alliance flip on itself a couple of times. It could be anybody's game. Max, it was awesome watching you. What were some of your takeaways from this experience?
Takeaways, like Survivor specific, I would say you have to be playing like from day one. Like day one, because everybody else is. And I think that was a mistake that I made. I sort of thought, again, like not like totally knowing the ins and outs of the game as well as other people. I was like, that would be sus. Like for me to go like be trying to talk to people like right away. Like, I don't know, whatever, like let it go a little bit. But, that puts you at a disadvantage, I think. You got to be talking like from day one. To somebody at least, right, and try and like have something, build some kind of like relationships for yourself. And a second thing I would say would be, especially like when it gets down towards the end, you need to be talking to everybody, like every single person. And I think that on the one hand, like that could, make you perceived as more of a threat if you have relationships with everybody. But I think that it would be tougher to win without doing that.
That's true. From the outside, you think that's going to be the case, but it's not always the case that just because you're talking to everybody, you automatically become a threat because everybody else can do that. That makes a lot of sense, Max. Varun, we're at the final 6. Who do you predict is going to be in the final 3 or final 2? What do you think?
Oh my gosh. I really think Mario is gonna get far. I think he's gonna be in there. I think I feel like because Brian has an idol, I feel like he's gonna do something. I'm curious. Like I think it'll be him, and I feel like I'm gonna go with the guess it might be a final 3. So maybe I don't know. Maybe Erin. She's been doing really well in the challenges, so maybe she'll continue to keep it up. So yeah, I'll go with those 3.
I love it. I mean, part of me just wants to say Super Mario Bros. Because I think that's the right answer now. Like, it just seems so, like, they're half the cast. 2 of them are making out and locking lips and sharing cookies. One of them's been the Godfather all game. But then we have the hippie chick who just doesn't come off as a threat to me. I don't know if that's you guys when you were playing the game. And then Erin, I think she's got to win immunity here on out. Like, I feel like Erin's probably upped her target level with these 2 wins. I think she needs to win the next immunity. Pretty much because Ryan has an idol, and I don't think they've trusted each other really this entire game. Which is another, Max, what you said is a good example. Erin talking to everybody, Ryan talking to a lot of people, even though they don't necessarily trust each other, they're still reaching out, kind of to your takeaway. And then I still want to put money on Ethan though. Like I know this got some laughs because
I
that's
was
my
about
boy.
to say.
That's my boy. Because
Out.
Ethan
I
has the
think
right
good.
instincts constantly. He's constantly like shifted in the wrong direction. But now that he's kind of got to stand on his own 2 feet, I can't wait to see what he does in this next episode. And Ethan, by God, don't get voted out because I'm getting so mad because I curse people constantly in this game. So don't let it be you. Lauren, thank you so much for joining this both weeks in a row. It's been a pleasure to meet you. And Max, it's been a pleasure as well. And Varun, I can't wait to see what you're doing behind the scenes in the future Survivor UVA season. That's us at Live Reality Games. Thanks for joining us. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. We'll see you around.